So, we'll wait about a minute, get some people joining the chat, and then we'll get started. So, till then, I'm gonna have me some coffee. Let's just shoot him a message. Well, I guess we'll start. They'll join in. There's 4 parts. Okay. Here we go.
Dear Esther, the morning after I was washed ashore, salt in my ears, sand in my mouth, and the waves always at my ankles, I felt as though everything had conspired to this one last shipwreck. I remembered nothing but water, stones in my belly and my shoes, threatening to drag me under to where only the most listless of creatures swim.
Alright. Snow. It's kind of like snow. Sure, let's just go and... Oh, where the fuck did I get a flashlight from? Holy shit. Ew, toilet. Wonder which one was used more, the toilet or the bucket. Paint cans, lantern, some sort of book, notepad. Oh, I can zoom in, sweet. It just looks like logs and a picture. Looks like the eyes are scratched out. That's kind of weird. Guess the logs kind of make sense. This is a lighthouse. Might have said that already. I can't remember. Whoa. Okay. Glad this is more of a narrative experience than a horror experience like Amnesia. I still have to finish that, and I really don't want to. Go this way first. Take it this is a dead end. Oh, it's a beach. Oh, plastic bags? What the fuck? What is wrong with people? That is a lot of plastic bags. Assortment of other junk. Those footprints? And I can only zoom. Okay. Like every single button just zooms in. That's hilarious. Oh, okay. Oh. Oh, no, wait. It continues. Oh, maybe not. Oh, oh, nope.
Donnelly reported the legend of the hermit, a holy man who sought solitude in its most pure form. Allegedly, he rode here from the mainland in a boat without a bottom, so all the creatures of the sea could rise at night to converse with him. How disappointed he must have been with their chatter. Perhaps now, when all that haunts the ocean is the rubbish dumped from the tankers, he'd find more peace. They say he threw his arms wide in a valley on the south side, and the cliff opened up to provide him shelter. They say he died of fever 116 years later. The shepherds left gifts for him at the mouth of the cave, but Donnelly records they never claimed to have seen him. I have visited the cave and I have left my gifts, but like them, I appear to be an unworthy subject of his solitude.
In we go, I guess. Oh, okay. I see flashing light. It's supposed to be Morse code? Weird. Oh, 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 no, down I go. Oh, okay.
Those islands in the distance, I am sure, are nothing more than relics of another time, sleeping giants, somnambulist gods laid down for a final dreaming. I wash the sand from my lips and grip my wrist ever more tightly. My shaking arms will not support my fading diaries. Donnelly's book had not been taken out from the library since 1974. I decided it would never be missed as I slipped it under my coat and avoided the librarian's gaze on the way out. If the subject matter is obscure, the writer's literary style is even more so. It is not the text of a stable or trustworthy reporter. Perhaps it is fitting that my only companion in these last days should be a stolen book written by a dying man.
Oh, that works. Hey, you're really helping out there. Huh.
I have found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
Huh. Kinda looks like a butthole. It's the butthole of the mountain. It'll blast sulfuric rocks out at you. Smells like rotten eggs in here. Oh shit. Ugh. I think that's the only thing that's really going to annoy me about this game is that I cannot walk any faster than this. Oof. There's a light in the distance. I don't know, if this doesn't take long, I might just do a playthrough of Gone Home as well. Maybe not. I mean, if you're gonna play it anyways, I don't want to ruin it for you.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid, or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this: to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, well, Gone Home was relatively short. I mean, there's some secret stuff that I didn't find in my first playthrough. But
I quote directly: a motley lot with little to recommend them. I have now spent 3 days in their company. That is, I fear, enough for any man not born amongst them. Despite their tedious inclination to quote scripture, they seem to me the most godforsaken of all the inhabitants of the Outer Isles. Indeed, in this case, the very gravity of that term, forsaken by God, seems to find its very apex. It appears to me that Donnelly, too, found those who wander this shoreline to be adrift from any chance of redemption. Did he include himself in that, I wonder?
am I supposed to go this way or the other way? This kind of take me back around to the lighthouse. No, that's that cave where I seen the lights. Maybe?
Dear Esther, I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life.
I guess I can't go up there. Alright. I'm going back now.
This hermit, this seer, this distant historian of bones and old bread, where did he vanish to? Why, asked the farmers. Why, asked Jacobson. Why bother with your visions at all, if you're just to throw your arms up at the cliff and let it close in behind you and seal you into the belly of the island, a museum shut to all but the most devoted? dreamt I stood in the center of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside. My teeth will curl and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change.
Fuck.
If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death. I've rowed to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
This guy just depressing as fuck. There's a book. Bible, I believe. Well, it seems like I'm supposed to head straight, so I'll walk over here. I think this is where that butthole is. Yep. We're above the butthole. The butthole in the mountain. You know, when I finished Virginia last night, I thought about, oh no, loading. No. Okay, we're good. Anyways, I thought about how most YouTubers...
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Huh. Anyways, I was thinking about how most YouTubers end the session with, hey, make sure to hit that subscribe and like button, and I thought, should I be doing that? And then I thought, no, because it's more of a hobby than anything. Kind of excited. One of my videos had like 13 or 17 views. So yay! Where the fuck am I going? Come down here and look at this shit first. Well, I can't climb or nothing. that thing out there? Or...
There must be a hole in the bottom of the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
something... eat nor drink. Huh. Yeah, I figured not. Huh. This path? I feel like there's a delay again between what I'm saying and your messages.
It's only at night that this place makes any sluggish effort at life. You can see the buoy and the aerial. I've been taking to sleeping through the day in an attempt to resurrect myself. I can feel the last days drawing upon me. There's little point now in continuation. There must be something new to find here. Some nook or some cranny that offers a perspective worth clinging to. I've burnt my bridges. I've sunk my boats and watched them go to water.
Ah, I see. Wait. Am I going the right way? Yeah, I'm going the right way. Back to the right side of the boat. Oh yeah, I see it. Oh. Muffler? Yep.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
I'm slightly confused. Is this the way I'm supposed to be going, or?
When I first looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
Oh, holy shit, don't do that. I don't really want to. And was there nothing back the way I was going? Ugh. Geronimo? Ooh, shit.
Come back.
Oh, okay. Oh well.
I've begun my ascent on the windless slope of the western side. The setting sun was an inflamed eye squeezing shut against the light shone in by the doctors. My neck is aching through constantly craning my head up to track the light of the aerial. I must look downwards, follow the path under the island to a new beginning.
Oh. Isn't that lovely? Pills, needles. Someone was having some life-ruining fun back here. Although this just seems like some sort of fucked up purgatory. I kind of realized there wasn't really a boundary box there when I kind of stumbled towards it. Fucking go over here. Alright.
The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There's no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him, either.
That sucks. Ooh, another drug barn. Let's go take a look. Drug barn. Looks like someone had a firing. Ooh.
Inventory. A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes. Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
Looks like an ultrasound picture. Broken eggs. I feel like a lot of this stuff is metaphorical. Huh. Shit up here.
In a footnote, the editor comments that at this point Donnelly was going insane as syphilis tore through his system like a drunk driver. He's not to be trusted. Many of his claims are unsubstantiated, and although he does paint a colourful picture, much of what he says may have been derived directly from his fever. But I've been here, and I know, as Donnelly did, that this place is always half imagined. Even the rocks and caves will shimmer and blur with the right eyes.
I think I'm gonna play until the end of
They
the
found
second
Jakobsen
chapter.
in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. He'd struggled halfway down the cliff path, perhaps looking for some lost goat, or perhaps in a delirium, and expired, curled into a claw right under the winter moon. Even the animals shunned his corpse. The mainlanders thought to bring it home unlucky. Donnelly claims they dragged it to the caves to thaw out and rot. but he is proving an unreliable witness.
I'm only 43 minutes in. I don't know, at this point I could just make an extra long video, but I don't know. It's only 11:41. I still got time to do another.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
It's awfully dark back here. Books, clothes, maps, pages of a book. Okay. Okay. Wow. Whoop.
Donnelly did not pass through the caves. From here on in, his guidance, unreliable as it is gone from me. I understand now that it is between the two of us, and whatever correspondence can be drawn from the wet rocks.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty. Huh. I can see why. Holy crap.
first saw him sat by the side of the road. I was waiting for you to be cut out of the wreckage. The car looked like it had been dropped from a great height. The guts of the engine spilled over the tarmac, like water underground.
It all just sounds like this some sort of really fucked up purgatory, and his wife died in a car accident. And it's just the way it sounds, anyways. This guy is depressing as hell. Wow. Geronimo. Whoa. That's pretty fucking amazing. That is super bright. Holy crap. That would be unbelievably amazing. Mushrooms.
If the caves are my guts, this must be the place where the stones are first formed. The bacteria phosphoresce and rise, singing through the tunnels. Everything here is bound by the rise and fall, like a tide. Perhaps the whole island is actually underwater.
I don't even know which way. So am I supposed to go up or left or right? Oh, okay. Hello. So cool. I can kind of see why. Oh, shit. Wow.
This cannot be the shaft they threw the goats into. It cannot be the landfill where the parts of your life that would not burn ended up. It cannot be the chimney that delivered you to the skies. It cannot be the place where you rained back down again to fertilize the soil and make small flowers in the rocks.
Ah, figures. Wow. Oh, it looked like Pablo didn't last long. That's trippy. Whoa. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. That's super trippy, though. Yeah. I kind of figured as much. Damascus is taken. Huh. Whoa. That's... I guess it makes more sense after you beat the game. Nope, down we go. So messed up. Okay, I should be able to beat this relatively soon then.
I wish I could have known Donnelly in this place. We would have had so much to debate. Did he paint these stones or did I? Who left the pots in the hut by the jetty? Who formed the museum under the sea? Who fell silently to his death into the frozen waters? Who erected this godforsaken aerial in the first place? Did this whole island rise to the surface of my stomach, forcing the gulls to take flight? Came out there for nothing.
out to that candle out there and it didn't do nothing. A lot of candles. There's someone up there.
Of fire and soil, I chose fire. It seemed the more contemporary of the options, the more sanitary. I could not bear the thought of the reassembly of such a ruin. Stitching arm to shoulder and femur to hip, charting a line of thread like traffic stilled on a motorway, making it all acceptable for tearful aunts and traumatized uncles flown in specially for the occasion. Reduce to ash, mix with water, make a phosphorescent paint for these rocks and ceilings.
Sounded like he took her ashes and mixed it with the paint to make that paint that's been painted everywhere. Wow.
There were chemical diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity.
Okay, I think I understand to some point. The guy he's talking to, or was talking to, this Jacobs, or whatever the fuck his name was the other guy involved in the collision.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
So that would explain all of the chemical compound diagrams and shit. Okay. All of a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he felt the ground. Stairs back this way. She was pregnant, wasn't she? Oh, fuck. Wow. Seems like a lot of the
pain
things...
in my leg sent me blind for a few minutes as I struggled up the cliff path. I swallowed another handful of painkillers, and now I feel almost lucid. The island around me has retreated to a hazed distance, whilst the moon appears to have descended into my palm to guide me. I can see a thick black line of infection reaching for my heart from the waistband of my trousers. Through the fugue, it's all the world like the path I have cut from the lowlands towards the aerial.
Anyways, seems like a lot of the things that you find in these random locations, like that house near the end of chapter 2, there's broken eggshells, and there's a picture of an ultrasound. I don't know. I might be reading too much into it, but it seems like a lot of the things you find are metaphorical to some sense or another. And then back there in that garage, I seen whoever it was down from the beach.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation.
Oh, fuck.
When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Oh yeah, that's not fucking weird at all. He was was proceeding on his journey. Has come near the damnings, and he was
If
there.
only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
For neither did he eat nor drink. He was there days without sight. Yeah, I kind of figured as much.
There are headlights reflected in these retinas. Too long in the tunnels of my island without a bottom. The sea creatures have risen to the surface, but the gulls are not here to carry them back to their nests. I've become fixed, open and staring, an eye turned on itself. I've become an infected leg whose tracking lines form a perfect map of the junctions of the M5. I will take the exit at mid-thigh and plummet to my Esther.
I think they're the passages of where Jesus went into the desert and was tempted by the devil 3 different times. Something like that. I should know that. I watched that whole TV series about it, about the Bible. Oh, suddenly the light from heaven. Oh shit, where am I? Man could not see.
He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all.
Glory.
He had not drunk with Donnelly or Spike Jacobson back at the sea. He had not careered across the lost shores and terminal beaches of this nascent archipelago. He did not intend his bonnet to be crumpled like a spent tissue by the impact. His windscreen was not star-studded all over like a map of the heavens. His paintwork etched with circuit diagrams, strange fish to call the gulls away. The phosphorescence of the skid marks lighting the M5 all the way from Exeter to Damascus.
Up there.
I am the Ariel. In my passing, I will send news to each and every star. Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jacobson? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an Ariel, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jacobson flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Kind of figured that would happen.
Come back.
Well. Wow. Wasn't quite what I was expecting, but wow. Huh. It's only 12:22. Damn. Oh shit. Ugh. It's a good story. Well, that's the end of that. This is the second time that I've been left not quite baffled, but kinda I don't even know what the word I'm looking for is, but I mean, because it leaves you with the question of who that shadow or that person was, which, I mean, judging by the title, is probably Esther, but it's definitely different. I think I have plenty of time, so I will probably end this video, grab me something to eat, and then probably start up with broadcasting Gone Home. Make a video for that. I think the team that worked on this had their best work in the cave. That cave was fucking... It was... astounding. That cave part blew me away. Well, I guess I think the part in the cave that got me the most was that little short little room with all of the crystals stuck to the wall, because when you're walking into it, it kind of looks like stars. I think that's the part that got me. Other than that waterfall, that was pretty cool too. So, I think I'm gonna end this, and giant room. Yeah, the giant room with the waterfalls. Yeah, that was definitely something else. I think I'm gonna end this, and then probably within the next 15 minutes we'll be starting up another broadcast for Gone Home. So until then, I don't even know how to tie this game into it. I really don't. I don't know how to tie this into it, so I guess. Yeah, thank you. That'll work just right. So, until next time, don't jump. And I'll see you guys in the next video.